Hello everyone, my name is SoulServer17 here. Let me first, like usual, I made the thumbnail, just showing the pictures, not paid video. Alright, okay. So, I'm gonna just get through this real quick. Some stuff are gonna happen that are gonna be kind of exciting, and I want this to happen, so if you have a problem with it, please leave in the comments, but that's gonna be later on. And, well, like, there are gonna be some things that I think was a cool idea, but it may not. Anyways, so also I'm adding characters from the comics, from Sonic, Archie comics basically. Some, not many. I'll have to figure out which and when to bring them in. But anyways, just so you guys know that. So let's get into this video. Last time we left off is that he's Shadow saving Sally. Then she tries to look up any information on him. He gets paid, and well, you know. So, after all that, we skip 2 days later. And, well, Amy's been trying to get closer to Sonic like usual. Sally and Rouge were introduced, and, well, ever since then, Sally has been getting close to Sonic. Like, real quick, actually, which is kind of worrying to Amy. Rouge is a bodyguard, which everyone knows that she's a bodyguard for her, and that, well, her quirk is based off intelligence, but her and technology. It works best with it. So, yeah, she was getting into the hero course, and well, for these past 2 days, though, Shadow and Amy have been talking a lot, and we're going to the phone call, which is happening. So she goes, and that's what's happening. And he goes, alright, so Sonic is getting close to Sally. It doesn't seem like he's avoiding her like he always does with you. When you try to make him food, hang out, talk to him, and others, and just like trying to give him a present. She goes, yeah. And he was like, and you've been upset with this. He goes, look, Amy, just try to find a better option, just in case if he, well, starts dating her, alright? You're a good person. You don't deserve to be treated like this. I mean, we don't hang out, but look, I'm always willing to hang out with you if you need it, okay? He goes, alright, Shadow. And then basically Shadow just says, you know, you can always call me my other name. I don't mind. She goes, no, it's fine. I like Shadow better. Anyways, I do wish you can come over here to lunch and talk, but I have to get back to class. Talk to you later. And he goes, yeah. Yep. Talk to you, Amy. Talk to you, Rose. And then basically they hang up. And he puts down the phone, and Shadow says, Sonic, you really are messing up. You don't want to play with someone's heart like that. Actually, he kind of made it already a statement. But the way she said how you get jealous when she talked about me. Just what? How do you even feel? Doesn't matter, it's not my problem yet. I should probably focus on saving more people. I do get a good chunk of money. I use that to help out around this place, along with, well, I donate some money to some people. I wonder if it's just, I don't know, buy stuff. I mean, my room's pretty okay, but whatever. I'll just call it the boss. He should, as when he grabs his phone, he's about to dial, his boss's number. Basically the gun. The captain of gun, the president, basically the one who leads it. So yeah. So right when he was about to call him, he gets a call from him. He was like, that's convenient. And he answers. He was like, yes, sir. What is it? He goes, Shadow, I need you to go to UA. He's like, what? Why? He goes, well, Rouge is a part of the hero course because of Sally. He's like, really? He goes, yes, I'm sorry you were not informed of this, but I did say she was going to be a part of UA, so I thought you figured. He was like, no, my apologies, sir. I should have realized that. He goes, no. He says, no, Shadow, it's fine. Anyways, you're going there for 2 reasons. One is because Nezu asked for an agent for extra backup. Excuse me, sorry. It was extra backup. And 2, I mean, it's to show UA how strong you are. I mean, I also have my 3rd reason, but that's besides the point. He goes, sir, permission to speak freely? He goes, yes, Shadow. He goes, what's your 3rd reason, truthfully? He goes, well, you are still a teen, even though you've been frozen 50 years. I don't see you as a weapon or soldier. Well, I do, but you are 15. You have to have some life, and by my records, you've only been going out and saving people. You have not been making any friends. So, I think it'll be a good idea for you to make friends this way. Not to join UA, but just have friends so that way you don't overwork yourself. He's like, thank you, sir, but I'm fine the way I am. I do have a friend. It was a friend, not friends. It's like, yes, sir. Alright, Shadow. There's a package coming to you. I require my agents to have weapons on them in the field at all times. Well, you are a weapon with your powers, but I still require you to have a weapon on you for safety purposes. Understand? He goes, yes, sir. I'll go to a store, and he was... Shadow, do you not remember? He was like, yeah, sorry. It's, I'm shocked by you. Not. He's like, I see. That's understandable. But, well, the package is coming in real soon. You have till 1 o'clock to get to UA today. They'll be at the USJ. Arrive there at 12, so that way you'll be in the lunch hour. Also, Shadow, these guns that you are getting are especially modified because of your mother. They'll be able to use your energy and shoot them out like plasma bullets. And yes, it does sound like from a video game. But they don't kill people, if you're wondering that. They can hurt a lot, and the pain will basically knock them out. And, well, actually they could, but you'll find out how. Anyways, these are especially made because of our scientists here. You'll find out how that's even possible. Anyway, Shadow, good luck. And, play well with Rouge. You may not like her at first. He goes, I'll understand, sir. Thank you. As you know, he hangs up. He goes, all of a sudden I just acted like a soldier. Hell, this is my job. I don't want to get fired. Besides, there's the only way I can live. I mean, I don't want to go to UA, so you gotta suck it up. I wonder when that package will have. And, well, right when he says that, a doorbell rings. And he goes to it. And by the way, Inko is home. It's just, she's in... Izuku was, well, in his room when he was talking to Amy and, his boss. The general, basically. Hold on. Okay, continuing on, because I'm in my room right now. Okay, so basically, like I said, he was in his room when he was talking to his boss and Amy. So, when he gets downstairs, Inko has already got the package, basically, for him. And he goes, Izuku, why did your work send you a package? And he says, don't freak out, Mom, but they're weapons, and it's required of me to have them. She goes, oh, okay, what type of weapons? And he goes, guns. And don't worry, there's no bullets. They're use my energy, chaos energy. And, well, we'll see what they look like. So basically, he opens up the package, he gets the little, briefcase, a square briefcase, like square case that's metal, and he opens it up, and he sees two desert eagles. Don't know why, I just like the design of it. And he goes, "Oh, man, these things are a thing of beauty, actually." Desert eagles. Twins. Basically, I'm just gonna make some random BS of how they are. When, because Izuku sees a note, well, a letter there, as he, takes it, and it says that, in the letter, saying, Zuku, not Zuku, Shadow. These twin desert eagles, basically, have a stockpile that can, well, if it was a normal bullet, it could pierce through almost a sheet of metal. Thin sheet of metal, yes, but a medium one, not so much. Basically, this gun is modified. A lot of wiring was put into it, and, well, it still will fire like a regular gun. It will still have a kick to it, but, well, that depends on how much energy you charge into it. There's a little charger meter showing where, or how much of, well, the power is that power that you're using. It goes on 3 separate stages. Stage 1 is green, non-lethal. Stage 2, which will be yellow, will be, well, it will hurt and break a bone or two. And when you get into the red zone, aka stage 3, that means you charge the gun to the maximum they can handle, and that'll equal death. So, please understand this, Shadow, that you are allowed to use excessive force if necessary. But, well, basically, call if you need to ask a question. Alright? And then he said this out loud to his mom, and she was kind of shocked. So, well, basically, he looks at it closely. He can see where they were talking about. There was a charge meter, basically right where, well, how can I say this? When you basically point the gun forward, there's a meter. Like, there's a screen there that shows the meter. And he goes, what the? If it shows this, should have been like a thinner case, not like a big one? Which Inko goes, yeah, then, hey, there's some stuff on the bottom. So he takes the foam, and, well, there's a license for these, and holsters. He goes, also a license to kill. I mean, it comes with the territory, since you're in an army that goes all around the world. Makes sense. Which Inko sighs and be like, well, since it's not a regular gun, it's basically supposed to, well, work with your chaos energy. It's fine to have them in the house, since no one else can use them. It was, yeah, probably need to do some maintenance to it every once in a while too, and make sure. This is gonna be a problem, I think. But anyways, I'm just gonna go to the UA. I mean, I have time, but I'd rather be there early, and, well, I need to call my boss up and ask him a couple of questions. He goes, alright, just be safe. So, Zuko straps the holsters. It's like those, like, individual ones where it'll be on the side of him. So, like, side of his leg. So he just will have those. He basically gets on his jacket and yeah, jacket and gloves. Basically, the gloves aren't how can I say this? The gloves aren't regular gloves. Basically, it's the fingerless ones, but they have something for his knuckles when he punches. It's a lot more heavier of a punch. I mean, impact on basically people. So yeah. So he has the guns already in the holsters. He's walking out. He has the keys to his bike. He says, "I'll be back. Just just be safe." He's got it. I'll also say hi to Dad when I get there. All right. So Izu gets on his bike, starts it up, and just drives off. And he's kind of thinking, how should I explain to Amy why I'm there? I'll just be straightforward. Be much more easier. So, after, him getting there and he's at the gate, which is closed, he was like, huh. There's even reporters here. Oh, doorbell. Well, screen and a doorbell. He goes over to the key, the screen where there's like a little keyboard and such there, and he presses a button and, well, he goes, basically then he hears on the intercom, which is there. He's like, "Hello, who are you?" He's like, "Oh, I'm Shadow, Agent Shadow from Gun. I'm here because of Nezu, and I was assigned here." Which they say, hold on. So basically, they transferred to Nezu, the call basically, and he goes, and the screen pops up. It goes like, "Hello there, I am Nezu. You are Shadow, correct?" Izuku takes out his wallet, shows him his, you know, gun ID. He goes, "Yep. Can I?" He goes, "Yes, you can." Oh, I did mention he already did have a license to kill, I think. Yeah, he did, but they didn't know that. So, he just has two, just in case he loses one. So, anyways, when the doors open up, everyone's kind of shocked, and he does walk in. The doors then close again. So he, gets into the building. He goes, "Okay, there should be a map," and there it is. I'm here. If I just go down this path, go through the stairwell, go up to, take a right, then walk a few meters, take another right, and Nezu office should be there. Great. So he starts, walking the direction he found that would work, and halfway there, Nezu meets up with him. He was like, well, actually, when he gets to the stair, Nezu's there. He was like, "Ah, I see. You already found the map. Alright, come this way." As he walks with, Nezu to his office, and it's silent. And, well, some people are seeing him are like shocked to see someone, well, with guns with him. Guns that he has guns in the school with Nezu. And he goes, "So, Shadow, the guns?" He was like, "Oh, yeah." Basically, he takes it out, gives it to Nezu. He goes, "Shoot one. Well, try to shoot it." He's like, at you or at the wall?" He goes, "Alright." Which Nezu tries to pulls the trigger, nothing happens. He goes, "See? Only I can use them. It uses energy. Only. None, well, bullets." Basically, Nezu gives him back the gun and, puts it in the holster. He goes like, "So you have nothing to worry about. I'm required to by..." He was like, "I understand. You are the general already told me about it. It's required." He was like, "Yeah, I mean, he did say I was I'm already a weapon by myself, so yes, he did mention that. And also, since you're part of Gun, I should tell you this, but hold on. Basically, Nezu just types a few stuff on his keyboard, then a screen comes down, basically, and then all of a sudden the general's there. He was like, Nezu, Shadow? He goes, sir. Basically, and he goes, you can act normal, Shadow. It's like, are you sure? He's like, yes. He goes, thanks, General. So, what's the details on this job, basically? It's like, well, we already know about the League of Villains. Well, technically, that's what they call themselves. But nothing more. It's because of Rouge. She heard about it from her their night, and, well, I told Nezu about it from what I heard from one of my agents. It's like, okay, so, you having me here just in case? He goes, yes. And Nezu, I think it's about time you tell him about the #1 hero. I was like, yes. I thought it would be better if I have the general here because it is top information that, well, normal civilians don't need to know. It's like, alright. So, he explains what happened to All Might and how much hours he has, and, well, he may pass the quirk on to someone else. Basically, just for the simplicity's sake in this, Kirishima, but the thing is, Kirishima's is the final person. But the thing is, though, there's no excess power, so it's not like he's gonna die. Alright? So anyways. So what happens is that, well, this. Izuku's like, huh. So, the #1's still doing hero work while he's injured. How foolish. Which Nezu nods. He goes like, alright. And may I ask you, since they are villains, if I find any of them a threat and they try to kill a student, am I allowed to kill? Well, the general just says, use your judgment, Shadow. I believe in you. And besides, you basically are allowed to. So, I mean, that was one of the conditions Nezu, well, I talked to Nezu about, which he does not. He goes, thanks. How much information should I tell the students of Class 1A? Which the general says very little. Only say your name, who you work for, and why you're here. He says, alright. That's all I need to know, sir. I mean, General. So, I'm gonna be leaving now. And, he gets up and walks out of the room. And Nezu, this is quite a gloomy person. And basically the general says, well, to be fair, if you knew his story, you would understand. He was like, yes, I know. I don't know it, so I can't judge. But from what you tell, that boy went through a lot. And don't let his age fool you. He has been, I can only tell you this, but he's been frozen for 50 years. It's like, which Nezu's eyes widen. He was like, shouldn't he? He goes, yes, he should look different, or at least have some problems, but he doesn't. So, just be warned. He is technically older than most people, but he's also more capable than most people. He basically is he isn't called the ultimate life form for nothing. Which Nezu does not in agreement. Hold on. Okay, so after basically that, we go to Izuku just arrived in that Class 1A. He goes, let's see how this class will be. Hopefully, there's no one that's gonna be in my way. hate people like that. So, he knocks on the door and, well, Aizawa tells him to come in. Hold on. My dad didn't have the door open and, well, I then turned off my fan, so then I'm just turning it back on now. What the... Anyways, never mind. I just felt something. So, when Aizawa tells him to come in, he opens up. He goes, "Hey, Dad, what's up?" He goes, "Ah, Shadow, I didn't expect you to be here. So, why are you?" He goes, "Mission." He's like, alright. So, please introduce yourself. He was like, "Alright, I can't say much. My name is Shadow. And, well, I work for Gun. It's a military facility that works all around the world. And, well, I'm here to accompany you to the USJ this afternoon. So, I hope we can all get along, and we have no problems with each other." And everyone, well, says, kind of shocked by this. And basically he goes, "So where can I sit, Dad?" He's like, "Anywhere, really. It doesn't matter to me." Basically. And he goes, "Alright." So he just sits on... He just goes to near a window and just leans against it, basically. And closes his eyes. So the lessons go on for a little bit, for about 2 hours. And then it's lunch. He opens up his eyes. And he basically stops leaning against and just stands up straight. Sally then runs over to him. He goes like, "Shadow!" He's like, "Oh, Sally. It's good to see you." She goes, "It's kind of funny to see you too." He goes, then basically looks over to her side, and he sees Rouge. He goes, "So, you're Rouge the Bat." She goes, "And you're Shadow. It's a pleasure to meet you." Likewise, as they basically shake hands. And so she goes, "So, you can't ask me anything?" He was like, "Why you were a..." He goes, "Oh, that jewelry. I really love, jewelry, so I basically became a treasure hunter at a young age. And, well, I love shiny things." He goes, "Alright, what else?" "Well, basically I'm good at stealth. My kicks are basically powerful enough to destroy robots, and basically I can do a spin kick. Or should I say a drill kick." So, let me guess, you spin and then you basically just move downwards into the ground or something. Or into, I guess, metal, and you can break it. She goes, "Mm-hmm." It's like, alright. And you have wings. And ears, so... I guess that's an obvious sign of a bat. She goes, "Yep. Anyway, Sally, we should get going to lunch." It's like, "Right. Anyways, it's good to talk to you, Shadow." It's like, "Likewise." And, well, basically he looks over his side and he goes like, "Rose, what do you want?" She's like, "You're here." He was like, "Yep. You did say you wish I was, right?" She was, uh, sort of. He's like, "Alright, come on, let's get some lunch. I'm hungry." He goes, "Alright." Basically, they go to the cafeteria, get some lunch, and Izuku's sitting down next to Amy, which, well, most of the people in class when they're sitting in a group, but like Tails is nearby and Knuckles, but Sally's with, sitting next to Sonic along with Rouge right across from them. And Shadow does glare, not glare, but looks over and he sees it. Then he looks at Amy, which she's not paying attention when she goes to himself. And his head basically goes like, "Good." So she doesn't look upset. I'm fine with this. And while he's eating his food, he's like, "I expected UA's food to taste like crap. No offense to them, but it's actually pretty good." And while he was eating, he feels someone hit his head, and he's like, and he just says to himself, "Okay, who did that?" Which everyone, in Class 1A looks over, and Momo goes like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit someone from Class 1A." Which Shadow sighs, turns around. He goes like, "Who are you?" He goes, "My name is Monoma." "And who are you?" He was like, "Shadow. Shadow the Hedgehog. It's nice to meet you, Monoma." He was like, "Oh, you think you're all that because you're in Class 1A? I bet you don't even have a strong quirk, blah blah blah, yada yada yada." Bako was thinking exactly the same thing, but just as another extra. Which he goes, "Oh, um, you have the wrong thing. I ain't in Class 1A. I mean, I am in Class 1A, but I don't go to school. Have you noticed I'm not in a school uniform?" Which Monomo looks, at Shadow, just noticing. He's having a jacket on. Basically, like what you can see in the picture, sort of. A basically same type of shirt, gloves, pants, sort of not baggy, but black with pockets in it, guns basically, and just his trademark sneakers along with the inhibitor rings on him. He's like, "What the? Then why are you?" He goes like, "I'm here to make sure they're safe. So don't bark up the wrong tree unless you want to get hurt. Got it, kid?" He's like, "What? I'm not a." He goes, "You're a teenager. You're not 18 yet. Well, in America, would be here. You're 13, which you are adult here. But to me, you're a kid. You acting like one. You're trying to cause problems with someone that you don't even know to make yourself probably feel better and less insecure about how you failed to get in Class 1A, since you're just coming at them, basically, to someone who isn't even in Class 1A, which you thought he was, with insults and bad mouth in a class. So if I were you, I would turn back around and go to your class and actually learn to keep that arrogant attitude down a notch or two. Understand, Monoma?" Which Monoma's just silent and walks back to his seat. With his table, he's like, weakling. So after that, everyone was like, looking at him in shock. So people are just like asking questions like now. It's like, "So how's it like to be working and not in school?" Goes, hold on. No, sorry. Anyways, he goes, pretty good. I mean, the pay is good and all. I just have to basically do hero work, you can say, but actuality, I'm just doing my job's work. Basically, what I do for them is just protect the people any way I can, and well, I just do. I just do that, and I get paid for it. Which everyone's then saying, isn't it like hero work? It was like, oh, I mean, I do have these. Basically, he pulls out his wallet, showing his license for a gun. Basically his technically hero license and his license to kill. Which everyone's like shocked, and he was like, "Yeah, technically, I just need the gun license, but people here want to be a total pain in the butt, so I have to have all this." Which basically then Mina was like, "Wait, license to?" "Yeah, I'm a soldier. I work for a military company that works all around the world. What do you expect?" And Momo says, "I mean, he did say that, so it does make sense." Which everyone nods, which means like, uh, yeah, sorry. Basically, Tails is then say, he's like, Shadow, I've been wondering, what's with those rings on you?" He goes, "Oh, well, funny thing, they're there to keep my power in check." basically, he thinks to himself after he says it, he's like, if I tell them their inhibitor rings and I'm supposed to keep my power sealed, well, basically half it, they'll kind of be wondering how much power do I have. Can't let them know. So basically, after that, Tails says, "Really? Why is that?" He's like, too much of a too much power could harm myself. It's kind of like training." Which then Knuckles goes, "You're lying." He goes, huh? He goes, "You have chaos energy." Which that chimed in Amy, Sonic, and Tails. Which Tails goes, "Wait, how do you have chaos energy?" He was like, how do you?" Which he's Shadow's looking at Knuckles. He goes, "It's my family. Basically, my name is Knuckles. I'm somewhat of a treasure hunter, not fully yet, but I'm also a guardian of the Master Emerald. Everyone here, all in Class 1A and the pros, know about my family. And about an island that only we can access. So, somewhat. Well, you have to have a plane, but usually normal planes don't go there. Only certain people can, along with, these two. Tails and Sonic. And Eggman got there. So, basically, I'm a guardian of it. And then he goes like, "Wait, then why are you not use?" That's the thing. Hold on. Oh, wow. Yeah, just ignore that. Stupid notification. Sorry. Yeah, we all know my name by now, but who cares? Okay, so basically goes on about saying, well, Master Emerald was basically moved along the island. Well, it's called Angel Island. It was moved to basically to a remote location. So, not many people know where it is. Besides, it's always moving, too. We just have it in one spot now, and it's basically hidden. Not many people can get there. The only people who know it where it is can go to it. So, tell me, how do you have chaos energy within you? Similar to the Master Emerald. Which I was like, shit. I mean, the reason why Amy is shocked because she didn't know Knuckles can sense this. And he goes, basically then Shadow goes like, how are you able to sense my power? He goes, it's easy. I can sense the Master Emerald, and it has the same type of frequency as your power. So, please explain. He goes, hold up. He gets up from the table, takes out his phone, dials his boss, the general, and walks away. Which Tails is like, do you think he somehow found the Master Emerald and absorbed its power? Which Knuckles says, that could be possible, but who knows? Which Sonic is thinking, how does he have Chaos Energy? Basically, he knows because he uses the Chaos Emerald, so he could turn into Super Sonic. So, yeah. Anyways, continuing on. We go to Shadow. He goes, General, I was talking to the students and they asked about my power. And, well, I was found out about about the chaos energy within me. It's like, I see, Knuckles. Yes, sir. Wait, you knew about this may happen? He was like, yeah, yes, I did. But I didn't think he was going to figure out so quickly. Explain to him about Project Shadow. Alright? He goes, yes, I understand. So, but we'll have to be only in the class because we're in the lunchroom. He goes, yes, I'm sending an agent. Well, not agent. Actually, I'll come there myself. I'll be there in a few short minutes. He goes, alright. So, after that, wait, actually, I forgot to mention TV show and the comic and the TV show. At least maybe a few characters from the TV show. Who knows? Anyways, moving on. Sonic X. I mean, so basically, so after, well, after he gets back, he says everything will be explained to you guys when we get back to the classroom. All right. Baku's even curious too. He was like, "What's so special about you, extra?" And Shaw just looks at him and he goes like, "I don't know. What makes you think you're so much of a top dog?" He's like, "What do you say?" And as Bakugo gets up and has a little explosion. He goes like, "I'm Bakugou Katsuki. I'm gonna be the #1 hero. You better respect me." Basically, Shadow just looks at him like, "Really? Face?" And he just says, "#1 hero? What's so special about that?" Which anyone in that in the room is shocked by this. He goes, "I don't see the point of being #1. I am the ultimate life form. Having a title doesn't prove nothing to me. Actions do. You claim you're gonna be the next #1, but you never know. Someone could be better than you at something. Remember that, Bakugou Katsuki. You are not always gonna get what you want in life. Understand?" As he looking at Bakugo straight in the eyes and glaring at him, basically, as Bakugo can just see that this guy has been through a lot, and Bakugo's a jerk, an a-hole, but with the way Shadow's looking at him, he ain't gonna say much. As then Amy goes like, "Shadow, calm down. Come on, let's go. It's about to end soon." And he goes, "Right, Rose, sorry." And they leave, basically. And then Mina says, "Ooh, I smell a ship." And everyone looks at her, and basically Sonic's looking at where Amy and, well, Shadow are going. And Sally goes like, "Sonic, something wrong?" He's like, yeah, nothing. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick, alright?" Alright. So basically, Sonic goes to the bathroom, but not really. So, while Izuku, aka Shadow, is walking with Amy, she goes, he goes, "Yeah, pretty much he pissed me off." He has like the being the #1 hero is such a good thing. Does not realize that this society is because of All Might, the villains are stronger. Which, she goes, "Can you explain?" He's like, "Right. Basically, if All Might was never in the picture, many villains that were powerful would still be out, but less villains would be around if you really think about it. Only stronger villains are coming out of the woodwork is because of All Might. Try to take him down and prove something. If he was never around, these villains who are stronger than probably 50 years back to 20 won't even be around today. Just pisses me off. Sort of that they look up to him like a god. He's not a god, he's just a man." And then she says, in a joking tone, "And you're the ultimate life form, right?" And he was like, "Is that mocking me?" He was like, "No, I meant as a joke." And it just sounded. He just chuckles. He goes like, "A mess of you, Amy." And she goes, "You didn't call me Rose." He goes, "Look, at this moment, I think it's better off I just say Amy when we're alone." So, look. Yeah, I know it may sound like a mocking tone, but yeah, I am the ultimate life form. But I do have my limitations. Mental wise, physical wise. I can't always. I'm not a perfect being. Perfection isn't, well, achieved or made.
has to be earned. And there's always a flaw in everything. And having a flaw just means it is perfection. It's perfect in every way and form, even with a flaw. Am I right? Which she does nod. And he goes, so, what do you want to do? What are you doing after school? She goes, oh, I'm just going to meet up with someone I watch every now and then for her mom. Her name is Cream. She goes, huh? Really? She goes, mm-hmm. By the way, no, it's not gonna be Mirako. So it's still gonna be Cream's mom, but Mirako's the aunt. So, basically, he goes, okay, Cream what? Well, Cream, basically, his name is, just Cream, the rabbit, but, because of her quirk. Her mom, that's her family name, Rabbit, actually. Cream Rabbit. He's like, huh. Alright. Wait. The rabbit hero, Mirako, is that her, aunt? He's like, you met her already? He goes, mm-hmm. She's really nice in person, but very loud and likes to fight. He's like, well, I mean, fighting is fun. So, anything else? She goes, well, nothing really. I'm just gonna go home and probably study. And then, Shadow looks at her, to the side, he's basically walking forward, looking forward, and looks on the side, tilts his head a little bit to, in her direction. He goes like, how about I hang out with you, help you study, and I can meet Cream. She goes, really? You want to hang out? He goes, yeah, I'd love to. It'd be nice. She goes, alright. After school. Promise? He goes, promise. I won't break it. He goes, and then she goes, you're not brooding so much, He goes, brooding? What do you mean? And he, looks at her confusingly. She goes, well, you usually just have this, I don't care face, but lately it seems like you're, well, how can I say this? It's softening a little. He goes, probably. I haven't been this way in a while, actually, so thanks, Amy. Just no problem, Shadow. So, class is about to, and then the alarm goes off. Everything's going to canon, but Ida, stops, basically does exactly the same thing. And, well, they get to class. So, when they get to class, hold on. Alright, so basically, like I said, when they get back to class, they see a man with a woman with a, tablet in her hand. They're like, sir, are you sure this is... He goes, yes, I'm sure about this. Ah, Aizawa, you're here. He's like, who are you? He's like, I'm your son's boss. My name is Thorndyke. Christopher Thorndyke. Or General Thorndyke for anyone. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I'm a fan. It was like, thanks. I'm an underground hero. I know. You're one of my, candidates for a future, agent of mine. It's like, oh really? He goes, yes, you still will be a hero and a teacher, but every so often I would have called you. It's like, well, then why am I not? He goes, oh, because, one, your son, he'll need you a lot around. And two, I mean, he just whispers someone in his ear and he does nod. So, basically he says, alright everyone, please, sit down. So, after everyone sits down, besides Shadow, who's just leaning against a wall, basically he goes like, leaning against the wall where everyone can see him, he's right behind the general and his secretary, aka assistant or something. Yeah. So, basically he goes like, alright, so I already introduced myself. I am General Thorndyke, Christopher. basically. I am the owner of a gun. Well, current owner. It's basically promotions and all that are given to, and then you become the top dog who owns the company, as you could say. But instead of you'll own a multi-millionaire, military, company, which is only one around and can easily be rebuilt. So, I'm getting off track. I have a tendency to do that. So, allow me to explain some things. I was also a scientist, so if you guys are wondering about why Shadow here, as he points at Shadow, has guns, they're especially made for its power. Now that is complicated. It goes back 50 years. You can say 150 or 50 years. I did forget how long I made it, so I know it's 50, so I guess it's 150 or just 50. But a lot can change in 50 years, so either one of those two. Just, and basically everyone's going like, huh? It was, there was the time of quirks, basically. Many people were trying to kill people with quirks. So the government of Japan tried to make an artificial quirk through people that were quirkless, which everyone was shocked by. Because at the time, this experimentation was not authorized as inhuman or non-legal. Basically, they selected orphan kids to gain this, artificial quirk, but it comes with also attaining a source of power. This power, as you may know from Knuckles, is called chaos energy. Artificial made chaos energy, which everyone is shocked. Because that's what I thought at first, but it's man-made chaos energy somehow formed into a liquid. It's impossible. It should have been, but Dr. Midoriya figured it out from the help of someone who was guarding the Master Emerald and was allowed the knowledge of it. But Shadow's like, wait, you mean... Knuckles is saying this, wait, you mean my great-grandfather told us the story? And then he looks at Shadow and his eyes widen. And, Shadow's just looking at Knuckles in a shock. Looking at his eyes, he's wondering why he's so shocked about it. And he goes, yes, Knuckles. Basically, these children were basically trained to handle the quirk gene that they were going to take. Because the chaos energy was the chaos, basically, like I said, the chaos energy was supposed to have it infused with them and change their DNA and structure so that way it would match with the gene. And, that gene was a speedster's quirk. The donor was someone's grandfather in here. Which everyone was shocked. And then he goes, Shadow, tell them who it was. He's like, Sonic. The name of the donor was Sonic. Which, the Sonic that's in this time period is shocked. And he was like, but I never... He was like, not you. Your great-great-grandfather, idiot. He's like, Yes. All the children failed. Their own were down to one last child. He gained the quirk gene. An orphan. Right? All of them. And he went into the chaos energy that was left. He basically was able to take in the quirk, but also the actual chaos energy itself. Every last drop in that tank that was left. And so, for that, there was a project named Project Shadow, which, well, that became his name. And Dr. Midoriya treated him like her own son. Basically, you see, the quirk itself is actually made for him, became a part of him along with the chaos energy. And as well, as you may not know, Shadow, the energy you hold in is basically your physical manifestation of the Master Emerald infinity energy within you. Understand that? Which even everyone was shocked, besides Knuckles, because he realized it. But Shadow, aka Zuko, is shocked even more. He goes, "Wait, so I have infinite energy? How is that?" He was like, "It's easy. That energy, or should I say that chaos liquid that you were in, was not just any ordinary, just infused you with the quirk. It basically was the knowledge of chaos energy to make, by humans, but to make a manifestation of it. That is what, well, Dr. Midoriya realized afterwards. You became a physical manifestation of the Master Emerald. Quite shocking at first, but it made sense after I talked to, Knuckles' parents. Which I asked him not to tell him when he became the Guardian. And besides, I've been waiting your arrival, Shadow. Anyone at Gun has. Which he goes, "Wait, why is that? Why you were waiting for me? What's the reason?" Which, the secretary's like saying, "Do not raise your voice to," and then, Chris, or, the general, Chris does say, "That's enough." Basically, he turns around to look at Shadow. He goes like, "Because, Shadow, Dr. Midoriya made Gun not just for protect the world, but also have a place for you to work and to have a normal life if needed, to be under our protection if you did not want to work for us." Which Shadow's looking and shocked, and then he does kind of chuckle, which he does start tearing up a little bit. He goes, "Damn it. She always does this, huh?" Figured she would have done something like this. Which, basically, Chris asks, "Are you?" He goes like, "I'm good. Sorry. I didn't think she would have gone this far." And Chris does laugh. He goes, "You shouldn't be surprised. I mean, what I read, she really did care about you. But, moving on. As then he turns back to the students. After Project Shadow was announced, to, the people working on Space Colony Arc, and, any information you hear from me is a federal offense if you ever tell anyone. Your names, your records, even your existence will be wiped clean off the face of the earth. Understand me?" Oh yeah, I did forget to mention, Sonic did spy on Amy and Shadow and heard everything, and, got jealous, basically. And so, now that he's hearing this, he's confused and stuff, and so he explains everything what happened on Space Colony Arc of what he knows. But then he asks Shadow, though, to say more of it. He goes, "Basically, I was there to help a girl named Maria. Basically, they thought with my chaos energy, I was able to heal her sickness because of Dr. Jarol. And, It wasn't working at all. So, he made a deal with a man, a villain, at that time. Wasn't even well known by most people, but mostly known in the underworld. Named All for One. And All Might was passing by this when he heard it. Passing by this classroom when he heard this. He goes, "That man ruined my life. Because of him, my best friend died." Which everyone is silent, which goes, "Shadow." Yeah. Dr. Droll was desperate. Wait, Robotnik? I just call him Droll for some reason. Hold on. Yeah, it works. Droll Robotnik. So, yeah, basically goes. And, well, funny thing, he kind of reminds me of Dr. Robotnik, which Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy is shocked. Clone Sally and Rouge. He goes, "Huh? Why?" He goes, "Because the doctor, or should I say professor's name, was General Robotnik." Really think about it, you put two and two together. He had probably more than one grandchild, nephew and niece. Family still went on, which they're kind of shocked. He was so. Anyways, besides the point, he was desperate to save her, so he started making mass murder weapons for All for One, and because of that, the government found out and put an end to the project. So, taking away people that were important, killing people that were not important, and one of those victims were my best friend, Maria Robotnik. She died because of someone shot her. I know who it was. A friend that I thought betrayed us. Turned out he was still a friend. Anyways, moving on from that. I was sent down to Earth. I was basically knocked out and put on ice, you can say. Cryogenic frozen. And for 50 or 150 years, I slept. Didn't age. And so, I woke up not that long ago. And I found out everything. Found out that General Robotnik tried to alter my memories. My mom, at the time, before I was adopted, basically Dr. Midoriya, my mom figure, basically, said she removed those programming to fix me. And, well, here I am. After just learning everything I could, getting my gear, getting my bike, driving off, and then meeting my current parents, which, how I became Shido Aizawa. That is all you need to know. And that's everything I can tell you, because that's all what happened. And basically, he just closed his eyes. And then, Chris says, "That's all you need, that is everything. So, take this information and never tell anyone. If we find out any information is leaked, you already know what will happen. So, good day to you, Class 1A. Basically, he leaves, and then he goes, "And Shadow, remember, force is necessary. Killing is allowed." And he just nod. So, he leaves, and everyone's looking at, Shadow. And he does saying, "Oh yeah, never told you what my name was beforehand. Actually, doesn't even matter. My name's dead. You had to know because I was called out because of you, Knuckles. So remember, Don't let no one know. Which, they nod. And by the way, there is no UA trader. Just to let you know. I know it's Ayama. This is his natural quirk. But, he's not the UA trader. There is none. So, moving on. So after that, everyone gets on their hero costumes. They go onto the bus. Amy's hero costume is her Sonic Rider's outfit. Sonic is just, him wearing a blue jacket and stuff, Knuckles. You can imagine whatever Tails is hero / support, so he has gadgets along with Sally. Rouge, just a normal, I guess, battle outfit. Sonic Adventures 2. Yeah. And, then Shadow just wears his, normal clothing. So, everyone's talking to each other, and, Amy's sitting next to Shadow. And then she basically, him just, crossing his arms, just having his eyes closed. Him actually trying to take a little nap. And then she touches his, hand, and he opens up his eye. One of his eye. He goes, "Yes? What's wrong?" He goes, "Do you want to talk?" He's like, "Why?" He goes, "About Dr. Midoriya." He was like, "Oh, I guess." "Well, you want to know. How was she like?" He goes, "Oh, strict. Very strict on basically studying. Man, I hate studying back then. But I learned to enjoy it because of her. I mean, she was also fair. She always let me run around, try to test off my speed. And she was fun to hang out with. She always tried to get me to smile, and always asked me to call her Mom, which I always called her Dr. Midoriya. And, she was just a very kind person. I remember this one time. Basically, then I was just reminiscing with, Amy about her. Everyone's being quiet, just listen to it. Even Bakugou. Bakugou is not insensitive to the point where he'll mock someone like this. Because this dude, he's thinking, he's been through a lot. Jeez. And so he's listening, then he goes, and basically, she got so furious just because I shot a gun, and, she started yelling at freaking, you say about it. And the look on her face is priceless. And days after all that, Amy says, she must have been a very good person. It's like, not just good, the best. And, I never got, basically, it turned out she actually got married. She basically worked on so much stuff for me. It was nice. She can see he's upset about it, and she does saying, do you know where her great-great-grandchild or, grandson or grandchild is? He's like, "Oh, yeah, that's not the best part. That's my mom." Which, her eyes widen, and goes, and she looks exactly like her. It's like, if you could put them both together, that's like her twin sister. Which, Amy's smiling at that. And so Aizawa says, "Alright, everyone, get off the bus, we're here." Everyone's getting off, and, Shadow's being last, and Aizawa stops him. Basically, and he goes, "Yeah, what's up?" And he goes, "Listen, I'm glad you have a friend, but you can always come to me if you need to talk, alright?" It's like, "Yeah, I know, Dad. Don't worry, I'm fine. It's just," he goes, "you're not used to this world yet, are you? This new time period." He goes, "Yeah, It's still kind of tricky. I'm getting used to it, but it's not comfortable yet. Yeah. Sorry if that's offensive, I guess. I don't know. He goes, Izuku, you're still human. Don't try holding your emotions, alright? He goes, fine, I'll try to talk more. If you and Mom. Just weird, still. Anyways, come on. Which, Aizawa and him both get out. And so, everything goes to canon. Until, well, the doors close and everyone, while Kirishima says, wait, fake villains? Which, as always says, they aren't fake, and, well, before he even gets to action, he looks over at Izuku. I'm not Izuku. Oh, yeah, Izuku, aka Shadow. He was like, Shadow, I got it. Just keep the students safe. So he's walking down the steps. The heroes are, not the heroes, the villains are seeing him. Someone was like, a kid? What is a kid going to? As he just blitzes towards this villain, basically punch him in the face. That he's sending flying in the air, basically like spinning in the air and falling down to the ground, knocked out. And he goes, he talks too much. He's like, what the? He basically just pulls out both of his pistols. He's like, let's do this thing. Come at me if you want to if you want to die. As all the villains go like, don't get cocky, kid! As well, everyone just sees the speed he is showing. And throughout the whole entire villain's attack, he's taking them all out, basically, pretty quickly. Every shot he's taken is basically in a joint or in an area that's non-lethal. And he's using only the green, charging them up as he's taking each shot. It's like a whole entire circle's happening around them, and he's just like disappearing and like reappearing. He's using chaos control all over the place. And imagine the DC realistic movie with not Doomsday, but the movie where Superman dies but comes back to life. There's these cubes basically, and a soldier from Apocalypse came here. And, like, the Flash, basically, he's, like, going all around, fighting off monsters. Yeah, imagine that. Everyone's seeing it. Shigaraki, Shigaraki comes out of the portal, was out of the portal and seeing this. Like, the whole entire, we are the League of Villains, and we are here to kill All Might, basically. That happened. And they're just seeing this, they're in shock, like, the kids were not sent away because of, Aizawa being there. Which Sonic is in shock by this. And what happens is, they just see one villain get sent flying upwards. And then, they just then see Shadow right above him, kick him down to the, kick him back down to the ground. And then he basically, falls into into a crater, which he made. Not fall, but crashes into the floor, making a crater. As then, Shadow just appears right back in the spot where he was, and it just puts away the pistols. And, it was like, wasn't even a challenge. Which, everyone is shocked because all the villains are knocked out, or some are crawling away. It's like, I need to get out of here. This kid's a monster, basically. Which, Shigeru is like scratching his neck. He's like, no. This wasn't supposed to happen. Cheater. Gary, send out the Nomu. He's like, but sir. Oh my, he's like, I don't care. Send him out. As, they send out the Nomu. As, Shadow looks at him and was like, that ain't even human. He's like, of course it isn't. It was made to kill All Might. Which, Shadow then grins a little. He's like, so, that ain't human. I knew, but just hearing you say it, I'm gonna have so much fun. Time to test out my limits. So, basically, Shadow basically, moves really, moves his in a blitz and punches the Nomu right in the chest, and nothing happens. Which he was like, this thing's pretty sturdy. As the Nomu tries to punch him, and he dodges it, and then he starts, throwing a kick into the Nomu, which, well, nothing happens again. And, well, this goes on for a few minutes until the Nomu grabs him, throws him to, making him hit the ground, side to side, and throwing him, running at the. Then basically, because of Shigaraki says, Nomu, kill the brat! The Nomu runs at him. Shadow does turn around, does a little front foot while he's, sent flying, then put his feet on the ground and sliding. The Nomu down, right as Shadow, as it, had his fist coming at him, as then he dodges it, kicking the Nomu's, arm up in the air, having chaos energy into his fist, left fist basically, and punching the Nomu in the stomach, which nothing happens. He goes, interesting. Alright, if we can handle that then, let's see if we can handle this much power. As basically, he just added more power into it. And, well, he does get hit a few times because of the speed increasing, which he's just kind of grinning. He was like, this is actually kind of fun. Basically, sort of, mindset. Everyone's kind of shocked by this. Remember, chaos energy, he, like I said, he's like a physical manifestation of the Master General. He has a lot of it, even though it's the Himba region are, keeping some of it sealed, half of it sealed. He still basically has infinity energy, so it's it, increases durability a lot. A lot. Taking a rocket launcher to the face a lot. Which everyone's shocked by this, fight. Which I was always amazed. But Sonic's like, how? So, Sonic kind of seeing the opening where Shadow does throw the Nomu over his shoulder, sitting in front of there, and then he, runs, Sonic runs and do a spin dash into a hit up higher, as then Shadow's saying, that idiot! He then just jumps up, and they're doing the exact same thing, copying him. Then the Nomu flying, then yells out, Chaos! As then the Chaos Emerald comes into his hand, Control! And he basically, teleports over to the Nomu, but grabs the Nomu, teleports higher, and then slams into the ground, basically, by the neck. Everyone is shocked by this, as then Shadow looks at Sonic and is like, you idiot! Get back! This thing's more stronger than you! And Sonic was like, I'm here to be a hero! Not to let you basically take this on by yourself, you idiot! And he was like, I don't have time to talk to someone that's basically asking for death. Which, the Nomu grabs his, Shadow's face, and then basically slams his head to the ground multiple times. Basically, about 10 times, and then just throwing him up into the air. Jumping up, grabbing him, slamming him to the ground like All Might did to the Nomu. Then grabbing him again, and then throwing him over to into basically one of the buildings nearby. Which Amy says, Shadow! Which Sonic was like, idiot for letting his guard down. So he was like, hey, big guy, come on, you gotta take on me now. And so Sonic, well, does some stuff, not much damage, and he does then get his arm broken when he tries to throw a punch. And basically Shirok is like, you idiot! This thing has shock absorption and regeneration. Like I said, it was made to kill All Might. And Amy basically does come out of nowhere and try to, and hits the Nomu in the head, not killing it, but does get its body turn a little, and she goes basically it's always wait, how the heck did I not notice her? It's oh wait, yeah, I was distracted because of my son. So she was like, how dare you do that to Sonic and Shadow? As basically she tries to hit, again, And the Nomu catches her hammer and basically rips it out of her hand. As then Shigaraki just says, "Just swat her away. She's a nobody." As it does hit her, send her flying, and she does crash. Sally, Rouge, and everyone else says, "Amy!" As then all of a sudden, like I said, Shadows on, basically can take a hits, but still, he still does feel the pain. His durability is high, but he can still feel it, and he's like, ah. He was just getting out when he basically saw Amy get hit, and basically, she gets sent. She does, like, everyone sees she hit something, but when the smoke cleared, Shadows, caught her, aka Zuko caught her, basically. And his body, was in the side of the ground area. Basically, a building side, too. As everyone is shot by, as Amy goes, Shadow? And he goes like, I got you, Amy. Don't worry. And, he does start healing her. And she goes, you okay? He goes, I'm durable. Anyways, he's taking off his jacket, puts it over her, and goes like, hold that for me, will you? She's like, alright, thanks. Just be... And then, she goes unconscious. And then, goes, I will. He grips his, he starts, making a fist and clenching it, basically, because he's pissed. So he was like, and Shigaraki was like, what? How are you not dead? He was like, how? It's easy. As all of a sudden chaos energies are, erupting from him. Yes, this is like Dragon Ball Z, so like where their ki is coming off of them. It's like that, and the ground starts cracking and coming upwards. He goes, I am Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form, and I will destroy your weapon! As he basically has a Chaos Emerald, hit out and says, Chaos Control! And all of a sudden, the Nomu is getting, like, launched everywhere. Which, incredible speed, like, no one can see. Not even Sonic. Which, everyone's in shocked, basically. Okay, so, I want to play this theme song. But I don't know if I would get copyrighted. So play the Shadow the Hedgehog theme song, the Shadow the Hedgehog game main opening of it, saying like I am all of me, I guess, or all hail Shadow or something. Hold on, I need just to... Okay, yeah, it's either one of those two. What do you want to pick? Or just whatever badass theme song you want to put on. But basically, though, as all of a sudden, the Nomu's just flying up in the air. Everyone's looking. As basically, when, Shadow grabs the Nomu by the face. And I mean, he's literally grabbing it by the face. Everyone can see red energy coming off of him. And he just goes diving down with it. Basically, the Nomu, as he's trying to punch him as nothing's happening. As when he slams into the ground, he goes like, this is why I am the ultimate life form. Chaos Blast! As red energy just comes off of him. And a massive amount of it where it's not, it's basically was... Everyone, like, it was behind Shigaraki and Kirigiri, like, behind the fountain. And one of the areas, like, one of the basically areas that would be there, like, the storm building with the buildings and the buildings that will be wrecked or on fire, basically. It's in that general area. As everyone is just shocked by it. As when it's cleared off, basically, they see a crater is made, and in the center of his shadow, Kirigiri and Shigaraki, like, the fountain's gone. It stopped where they were, and they just see Shadow just holding the beak of the Nomu, and he just drops it, and he just laughs. He was like, That was your weapon to kill All Might. That was nothing more than a simple toy to me. And now then, as basically multiple chaos spears appear above him, he goes, "Chaos spears!" and send them flying towards Shigaraki and, well, Kirigiri. As then Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles remember seeing those, as they're thinking it was him, basically. And so, Kirigiri warps them to go behind him as Shadow jumps over them, basically, as they basically hit the ground as they warp out of there. And when they get back to the base, like, he asks Shigaraki, "What happened?" You look, he goes, "There was a monster there, some kid. I don't know what, but he said he was the ultimate life form." He goes, "Really? What's his name?" He goes, "Shadow the Hedgehog," which all for one freezes. Which he was like, "Master, what's wrong?" He was like, "Never, ever go near that boy. Understand me?" He's, "Why?" He goes, That is someone dangerous. Someone you do not want to make an enemy of. And if he knows about us now, then we are doomed. We need to find Angel Island." He goes, "But how, sir? It's it's not able to be trapped by anyone else." He goes, "I have a few friends that could tell us. Some people owe me some favors, so we have to release Chaos." Huh? How do you... It was basically then just some pictures that All for One, well, asked Kirigiri to get, and basically just like a ancient water monster coming out, like basically destroying a ancient city and stuff, and like basically it's like just like what you could see from the Sonic X games and TV show, basically. So yeah. Anyways, he explained what it is. Now we go back to, well, Shadow and everyone else. Also, Eggman was watching this. He goes, "Huh, so a new person's in town that's stronger than Sonic, and he seems to be on their side. Well, not really, but these League of Villains. I better look into them, but as of right now, I have work to do. Science waits for no man. And besides, Dr. Eggman is not always meant to be around, but Ivo Robotnik does." Well, Ivo does, basically. From the comics, basically his old name was, before he became Dr. Eggman, or Dr. Robotnik. He was a good scientist, basically. I do not remember his name so well. So if anyone wants to tell me what his name was, besides Ivo Robotnik or something, that'd be great. But anyways, continuing on. So, after that, the heroes arrive along with All Might. Because they saw the massive energy, it was pretty big. They would get there in a few short minutes. And, Shadow's walking over to Amy. He basically picks her up bridal style and just walking over. And he basically, walked past Sonic, and Sonic goes like, "Just what are you?" And he goes, "I am the ultimate life form. I was, and I am human. I'm not a weapon. That was just me being pissed. Remember that, Sonic." And he just walks past him and, gets up the stairs along with Sonic, and, basically, Sonic gets healed, and Recovery Girl, Amy, she says, she's only knocked out. She'll be fine afterwards. He goes, "Thanks." He puts on the jacket and stuff, and basically Endeavor goes like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Me? The name's Shadow the Hedgehog. Agent of Gun. So, who are you?" Endeavor. #2 hero. He Goes, it's a pleasure to meet you, Endeavor. Likewise. You're not arrogant and being a prick. Why is that? I worked with some gun agents before. I know how they work. And you did pretty well. The damage is mostly in the back where there was no, villains. Any one of the villains that were probably in the area evacuated it during the fight. It was, yeah. I could sense where they were, so it was easy to avoid them. Anyways, I'm gonna leave the cleanup for you guys. And sorry about the crater, Nezu. Hold on. Sorry. Which Nezu says, why'd you do? He goes, well, I was pissed, and negative thoughts gave me this thing called Chaos Blast. And since I was angry and that's a negative energy, I basically used it. And, well, let's just say the thing that they had that was made to kill All Might wasn't human no more. So yeah, I killed it pretty easily. I mean, the pain hurt for a little bit after I got thrown into a building. And he got stronger of every single attack, so anyways, I'm in the bus. Which then Recovery goes like, take Amy with you, alright? Yes, ma'am. He picks up Amy and starts walking to the bus. Everyone's just looking in shock. Suddenly like, so like this year's gonna be interesting if he's around. I need to get stronger. As then all of a sudden, Sonic hears a voice. I was like, "Aw, come on! You should have let me out when we had the chance, Sonic." It's like, no! You stay quiet. He's saying this in his head. He's like, I'll come out one day. And when I do, I'll bring chaos and death to everyone. So, Tails and Knuckles noticed this. And Sally asked if he's alright. He was like, I'm fine. Nothing to worry about. Recovery Girl fixed it. She goes, so when we get back to the school, report to the nurse's office. Had to bandage it up more. I was like, yes, ma'am. So everyone gets on the bus and go back to school. And that's where we're going to end it off, everyone. I hope you guys like this What If, part 3. Bye, everyone. Have a nice day and night, wherever you are. Bye.